Hello everybody, welcome back to Road to Master. I hope you're all having an amazing day. We're starting off, we have the white pieces against the 1616 from Thailand. E4 is the way to go, as we all know. And we've got a perk. So what do we do against a perk? The principal move is D4. That is the principal move. But I don't do that, because since when am I principled? I've actually been playing this weird line with F4 here. Now, I don't know if it's actually a thing. Chess.com seems to call it the harmonist variation. But in reality, I play it more like a Grand Prix. But now they decide to go E5, which is quite strange. So we've got a King's Gambit on our hands, which I've never played, which is fun. It's fun, sure. And I believe in the King's Gambit, you just go knight to f3. So we might as well dive into the King's Gambit, I guess. We're making it up on the spot, folks. We are making it up on the spot. But it's a Gambit, and we love Gambits. So they've accepted it. They have accepted it. Apparently, it's called the Fisher Defense with d6. So what do we do after that? It's probably a d4 after that, to be honest. Probably a d4. Looking for some play. Maybe a bishop c4. We'll go d4. We'll go d4. Why not? Why not? I don't know anything at all about the King's Gambit. All I know is that you've got to play knight f3 to avoid the queen coming in. Because if we just took here, queen is coming in, which is the usual rook fork thing, you know, after g3. And they've played g5, which is bold, I must say. They're looking for a g4, although I feel like I would be fine with that realistically. And they're looking to hold on to this f-pawn, so they might as well. Now the question is, what do we do about it? What do we do about it? I think maybe an e5 could be in order. Although then g4 is looking almost nice. Maybe a bishop f4. G4 is, I mean, G4 is looking decent, you know. G4 is looking decent. Maybe throw in a check. That doesn't seem very principled. We have to do something about g4, basically. We have to do something about g4. And this pawn is now in the way, which maybe is a downside of d4. But, you know, we're making it up on the spot. We are making it up on the spot. Choices, options, choices, you know. We could go h3, although that doesn't seem particularly good. That is not really stopping g4. They just develop their bishop after takes. And nah, not particularly tasty. d5 could work, stopping the knight coming out. Although after this knight comes out, this is a bit of a weakness, but then you're also stopping your dark squared activity. So, yeah, let's go d5. Let's go d5. It's probably not a good move. But to be honest, I want to get out of this sticky situation we're in. I really want to get out of it. And this is where my chess is put to the test, because these gambits, they require you to be good at the game, basically. Obviously, if you know the theory like the back of your hand, it's more of a memorization thing. But if you're playing a gambit and you have no clue how to play a gambit, then it's up to you to prove that the gambit's actually good, isn't it? You're on your own. And we're just going to move back to d4, I think. They can check, but it's a bit less scary now. I'm not going to push g3. I think it's a king move we've got to do. Well, I don't want to go d2, but I think we have to. I think we might have to. King D2. It's brutal. Oh gosh, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much. King E2 is interesting. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. But I don't think it's good. F3 looks interesting. Pawn takes, knight takes. Or maybe that actually wasn't that bad. Pawn takes, knight takes. Yeah, maybe that was half decent. Well, we've done it now. We've committed to King D2. Maybe it was unwise. Who knows? Who cares? It's just a game at the end of the day. And a stupid game at that as well. Yeah. Apologies if I sound like a croaky old man or a frog or something as well. The cold that I've had is on its way out, but it's taken a toll on my throat. So we're stuck like this for a bit. But yeah, it sounds funny. So who cares? Who cares? Yeah, I mean, we just got to wait to see what they do. They're probably just going to do some development move. I think. I don't know how far I want to bring out my king. This bishop's out the game now, so I would like to move it off this diagonal. What? Queen F2 check. Okay, I get where you're coming from. Okay, this is interesting. So the main idea is queen block. However, you lose your knight. That was the first thing that popped into my head. So you're left with knight block, or king up. Or king up is always an option. But then f3 is particularly nasty. You could try that, but it doesn't work after queen takes, king takes, pawn takes knight. Not very nice. So I guess we're left with moving the king up. Oh no. Oh no. I don't want to do that one bit. Where are we going? King D3. Yeah. That's horrible. It's so bad. And now maybe we're looking at a queen E2. If we survive this, then I would be amazed. I think queen f2 isn't wise from them. I think it's too much right off the bat. They need to get more pieces in the game. And now your queen is even a bit of a target, to be honest. And if we can get the queens off the board, then we could be looking okay. We could be looking okay. We need to take care of this knight somehow. Maybe even a knight f5 wouldn't go amiss. Bishop takes, pawn takes. The knight. This is annoying though. This is annoying. So maybe a c3 is in order. Gosh, that's so bad. It's actually horrific. I hate this with every ounce of my being. I don't know why I'm playing the King's Gambit. I've never played the King's Gambit in my life, but I guess that's what comes from playing f4, doesn't it? Usually, someone who plays the perk from the start wants to play the perk, So getting an e5, I think they wanted a d4 going into a Scotch, or a Philidor at that, I guess, which I would have loved, to be honest. I would have loved. That's right up my alley. But this is just not. This is not at all. So we'll see. I don't know where I went wrong. It was probably d4. And definitely d5. But other than that, we're spot on. Because all we have to do is stop checkmates, basically. All we have to do is stop checkmates. Way easier than it sounds as well. They've played a b6. Okay. Looking for a bishop check. Okay, I get you. I get you. Now, okay, so. How about a knight f5 now? That would be quite nice. And now we've got the pawn covering this. Knight f5, and if they give us a check here, we could push the pawn. No, because then we got queen there. No, but then actually the knight's covering that, so we can push the pawn. Oh, this is interesting. And then they've still got to move the bishop. Oh, I hate this. I hate it so much. Oh, it's horrible. We can't move the knight to d2 because the bishop needs to cover this e3 square. Oh no. Oh no. It's not nice. It's not pleasant one bit. And if we go queen e2, trying to swap off queens, that loses immediately. Or something along those lines. Yeah, they can actually just take this pawn, which is... Actually, no, they can't. Push, takes, then knight takes, actually. Ooh, that's interesting. No, we've said that you can't push this pawn because of queen. Yes, that's what we said. That's what we decided. Okay. No, we're chilling. Oh, what if we go queen check? Okay, hear me out. Queen check, bishop blocks. Queen c2. Queen c2 surprisingly holds, but I think knight would be better. Knight block would be better. At which point, still queen c2, and after that, we're still losing. We're still losing. No. What about a b4? Bishop check block. Bishop takes. Pawn takes. Oh, this is so horrible. This is so bad. I think the best move might actually be knight f5, which I don't want to play at all. Ay. I don't want to play that. I really don't. I really don't want to play that. Please don't make me play that. I think we have to, unfortunately. Frustrating. Okay, we'll go for it. See what happens. If we lose, we lose. That's what we get for doing stupid stuff. To be honest, that is what we get for doing stupid stuff. Yeah. It's not boding well for tonight's match. I've got a match tonight. Luckily, I've been pushed down a board because we've got a lad in from the first team who's available to play for us tonight. So that's all good. And he will be taking my board one spot. Thank the Lord. An easier game for me, hopefully. Although, that being said, it doesn't mean much, really. I'll find a way to mess it up. But it'll be a laugh either way. It will be a laugh either way. And I think for now we're still holding on. We are still holding on. Now we can do a bishop, a queen e2 maybe, because we're free to push this with the knight covering d4. Are they too worried about the bishop? That's one of the questions they have to answer. How much do they value their bishop? Does it tactically lose? Does it tactically win? And if I was black here, I think the check's undeniable. Really, I think the check's undeniable. With all the tactics, bringing a knight in would be nice, but it's a bit slow. And to be honest, a knight there would be beautiful. Actually, that's just mate, and it's practically unstoppable. Practically unstoppable. Yeah, In fact, have I massively overlooked that? Have I massively overlooked that? That's vile. Wow. No, because we can take the bishop with check. We can take the bishop with check. Okay. Yeah. And maybe we've got a queen a4 pin as well. Oh, they take the pawn. Brave. Brave. Take the pawn. Take the knight. So we're free off this diagonal now. And I'm looking immediately at queen e2 check. Forcing the queens off. And potentially these pawns could be weak, you know? You never know. You never know. Knight h6. Queen check. Queen takes. King takes. Knight takes. Bishop takes. Is interesting. Probably bishop takes rather than king takes. And then we're looking at this pawn as well. So that's quite cool. We're still down a pawn. This is a really good pawn though. I love this pawn. They go with that one. And now I'm just trading off queens, I believe. Might as well while we get the chance. The opportunity. And I don't see, now that they've not got one of their knights in position, either way, how they're actually not losing a pawn here. Surprisingly, my pieces are in a decent shape. We've got to be careful about bishop takes, because they have the cheeky knight e5 check, hitting both the king and the bishop. So we've got to be careful about that. I'm assuming they're going to long castle. We need to get the knight in the game. However, we manage that. It will be a knight a3 though, regardless. Yeah, so they do that, and we'll take with the bishop. And potentially bishop takes. Oh, this knight though, it's annoying. I really want this knight gone. If we can get this, the first cover in that. And we actually have the bishop pair as well, which is mind-blowing. We actually have the bishop pair. And I think they've put their foot off the gas massively with bishop takes f5. You know, I think they really needed that check thrown in. In fact, I would go as far as to say it's completely winning for black. Knight d7, as we discussed, is ridiculously brutal. There's nothing I can do. Queen e2. Maybe, and then escape this way. Throw in a check though with queen e2. You know, there's nothing. There's nothing. It's so rude. It's so mean. It's so harsh. Yeah. Whew. Wow. I would love to see what the computer says. Really love to see what the computer says. But we have a game to play still. We have a game to play. So we better do a chuffing good job of that. Now that we've quote unquote equalized, we'll see. We'll get some judgment on that. But yeah, they could potentially throw in 95 straight away. At which point I reckon C3. I hate C2. Sorry, I hate to admit it, but C2 is probably the way to go. Which means we'll have to get our knight out another way, which is fine. We have options. Yeah, so they've thrown that in. The thing is, I don't want to go here. Definitely don't want to go on the same diagonal as a bishop. Here it would be brutal with the rook coming in. Here I can't go, so we're left with one choice, aren't we? We're left with one choice. And now we're looking at bishop takes f4, so bishop h6 maybe. Or they go for that. Strange. And here I'm throwing in the check, because they can't do anything about that, and they're going to lose their kingside castling. Queenside castling. Castling rights, I should probably say, is a better way to phrase things. And to be honest, I quite like this position. This is super weak. We can hit that now with d2, with a rook f1. We could potentially throw in a check this way, although you do get kicked, but then you're blocking off your dark square bishop. So, you know, a bishop f4, hitting that could be nice. Where are they going? Where are they going? That's the question they have to answer. They've got, yeah, well, like, you got no choice, pal. You got no choice. Bishop f4 now is really nice, I think. Knight comes in, bishop is fine sitting there still. And then knight d2 would win us the pawn. So let's go with that. Let's go with that. I'm super happy. Considering what this started as, I am super, super happy. Super, super happy. Knight f6 here hitting this, we just take. Pawn takes. And if they decide to take this, then yeah. They go that way, which is interesting, actually. Do I take? Ooh. I want to keep the bishop pair, though. I think this pawn's more important than this pawn. So if we can keep that, that'd be nice. So maybe we do take. Yeah. Yeah, we do take. And then knight d2. Takes, bishop c4. Then a knight d2. No, then a e4 maybe, knight d2, and we're actually hitting both of these pawns. So that's fine. Bishop takes, I think, is fine as well. Same idea, but they keep this pawn isolated. And then we have a few things we can do. So they go there. So we're just going to go back to c4 here. We've got to be careful of the rook coming in. But once we get this knight out, we should be good. Yeah, we're fine with them taking that. We have to be careful of checks, so maybe we bring the king in. Yeah. And then maybe we're actually going to e4. Maybe we're actually going to e4. I still desperately need to play knight d2. Desperately need to play knight d2. We've got time if they want to try kick our bishop, which is good. And we need to... It depends what we want out of this. It depends on what we want out of this. If we're going for a draw, which I probably think is the right thing to do, although it could quickly turn, it could very quickly turn. We want to trade off the knights for each other. We want to do a knight for a knight trade. Whoa. What? b5. Cool idea. Cool idea. Rook up. a4. h6. Bishop takes. Rook takes. Knight d2. I don't see why we can't take that. I think we would be a fool to not take that, to be honest. I think we would be a fool not to take that. There's no other tactics, are there? It's just the rook coming in. But then h4 seems okay. And then we just win another pawn. We'll take it. We'll take it. If they've got something, I don't see it. Yeah, and we go h4 instead of c4. a4, sorry. I don't know. Yeah. And then they just sacrifice another pawn for the b pawn, which seems a not good trade. Knight d2, finally. And we even potentially have knight to c4. Depending on how confident we are, we can win this pawn, basically. Depending on how confident we can win this pawn. That's the question. That is the big question on everyone's mind. That gets complicated though after rook takes, knight takes, rook takes, check, king, check, not check, takes. And we're down the exchange, but it's interesting. It's interesting. So we can't actually do that at the minute. But a simple h3 or something would fix that. And they sacrifice another pawn. They sacrifice another pawn. Why can't I just take the pawn? Are you looking for some checkmating stuff? Surely not. You can't get the rook there. I can just take that pawn, and suddenly I'm borderline better. I say that, but I won't be better, but you know, it's a lot nicer for me. It's a lot nice. We'll say that. It's a lot nicer. Yeah, I'm confused at why they've done that. Really confused, to be honest. This bishop's hanging, borderline hanging. King e4 even after takes, king e4 is quite nice. The bishop can sit here. It's a bit of a tall pawn, but it covers everything so nicely. And we just have to worry about our rooks, basically. We just have to worry about our rooks. I'm not sure what rook g8 is, and I think this whole b5 a6 idea of them just isn't the right thing to do, really, at all. Yeah, so they come in, and I'm wanting to trade, to be honest. Ooh. Yeah, I don't see why I can't take this bishop. We've got to be careful though. Pawn takes. King e4. Knight check. Pawn take. King takes pawn. Rook check. Check. Oh, scary stuff. Although king blocks f1. Bishop blocks f1 from downtown. Let's take the bishop. Why not? Let's take the bishop. We win another pawn. We win easy as that. We win another pawn. Nothing to it but to do it, you know. And they can try checkers, but we've got just escape squares. And if they try too hard, we've got checks to get the knight free, and we're up a piece. Which I don't think they would fall for. Whoa! Are they throwing the game? Are they throwing the game? I don't appreciate that. Surely they're not throwing the game. We'll take the pawn with check, sure. It was probably better to go after that, but I don't want to. Basically, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't appreciate this, mate. Don't appreciate it. We're just up a piece. We are just up a piece. Okay, so we've got to work around this knight being half dead. What do we do? I think we have to abandon this pawn for starters. Threaten checkmate would be nice. If this knight could move. Let's go A to E1. So the bishop's still covering the pawn. We'll move away from covering the pawn anyway. So I think just keep trading off one rook would be amazing for us. And if they try this whole thing, then the rook's covering this check as well from the knight, which is quite nice for us. And to be honest, I'm a bit disappointed. I wanted more out of this game, really. I hope we win it with a rook with a piece, but you know, it's not a nice feeling. It feels like an honest win. You know, it feels like a dishonest win. If we win it, of course. But to be honest, a piece up and a pawn. As long as we're not getting mated or losing any stupid forks, then we should be good. But this just seems like a throwaway sort of thing, which I'll take. It's free rating, and we need the rating really because we've lost a lot of games. But it's still it leaves a unpleasant taste in the mouth, you know. And I hope they've not just left the game. It doesn't say that they've disconnected. I don't know why they would throw away the game, because maybe they were annoyed they were doing better and aren't anymore. But they were still slightly better. They resigned, so who knows? We'll never know. Game review, I guess. We'll see how bad we are. 86.6% versus a 78.4%, and this roller coaster isn't looking as bad as we thought it was. 2150 versus an 1800. My opening accuracy is 86.3, so not the best. But hey, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So we play the King's Gambit with a d4, g5, and here was our mistake, was d5. So d4 is actually a book move. It's slightly better for black. With a 0.6. King's Gambit itself is just a 0.4, so it's decent. And then this G5 move threw me a bit. It's mainline now. I've seen it before, I think, but I don't know what to do. I played D5, just tried to claim some space, but apparently G3 is the way to go, which looks absolutely ridiculous to me. I would never think of that in a million years. And the whole reason is that it supports your knight on H4. But even so, F3, scary stuff, extremely scary stuff. But then again, this is a bit of a fortress. Like, what's coming in here? What's coming in here? Are you ever winning this? Maybe you're undermining it with like a H3. But H5 seems to stop any threats, so I'm not quite sure, to be honest. They did exactly the right thing, and this is just 1.8 for black here. So that's their immediate advantage. We played the right move with the knight to d4. Queen h4 obviously is the move, and apparently king e2 is the best way to go. King d2 is not the worst. It's from 1.8 to 2.0 for black, so it's not the worst. Let's see what happens on a successful king e2. Queen to f6. So they're just hitting this knight either way, and they're looking for this push. Which is the main threat, actually, because the queen defends this. So, yeah, I think we'll have to look at an opening afterwards. We played the right thing with the king up. I think that was our only choice, really. Everything else hung pieces. C3, again, only choice. And apparently queen d2 is actually the way to go. What? Queen d2 is ridiculous. I want to see queen d2. Best move. Show moves. Queen takes. Really? Why not check? King c2. Oh, because you blocked off the path. Okay. Makes sense. Are you not hanging a piece then? Are you not hanging a piece? No, because the queen is hanging. Makes sense. So if you try to take this, queen takes queen. And then you wouldn't trade a queen for a bishop. So that makes sense. Let's see this silly old... yeah, this is what I thought was the best move for them. Was knight d7. It's super scary. I don't even know how you would stop it. Oh, it does this thing. Knight c5. Check rather than... e4. Oh, I guess after queen e2 you blocked off. But then after queen e2, oh, you've not played g6 yet. Okay, makes sense. B6, yeah. Knight f5 is a blunder. And then here I was thinking actually knight to d7, but apparently that's drawing again because of knight takes check. We said knight takes check, duh, yeah. But anyway, bishop takes is not a good move either, I don't think. They're much better with the check. We can see the check as well. C4, yeah. Oh, and then, yeah, hanging the rook as well. I thought maybe a queen check first, but apparently that's winning. Oh, because the knight's there. That's the whole purpose of the... Forgive me, everyone. Forgive me, everyone. Anyway, we'll move on. E takes, yeah, that's just better for us. It's not better for us, but it's better than it was. Yeah, we did the right thing. And then the knight coming in there was decent, I thought, but apparently knight to E7 rather than either of these is better, which is crazy to me, because I guess you're immediately hitting them, the pawns. So that makes sense. Yeah. Throwing the check, and this is, I was really happy here. Maybe we can squeeze a draw out of this. Knight d2 is apparently better than the bishop out. I thought we could play this in either order, and it looks like it's not much difference. And we were definitely right to take. And apparently knight d2, you just let them have this pawn, which I thought was a bit weird because this is quite a strong pawn actually. But fair enough. And they don't even want it. They don't even want it. They don't even want it. Bishop to c... Oh, yeah, bishop c6. Duh. Jeez. Ugh. I don't know why. Never mind. Never mind. Yeah, king up was decent. And then this was just not a good sequence of moves. They threw away the pawn. Apparently that's a fine move. But after they played b5, it's 0.7, so it's practically drawing. And then the a6 just is 0-0s. In fact, it's 0.3 for us after this rook move here, hanging the pawn. We were wrong to take the bishop, apparently. We go rook b1 is slightly better. Maybe because you're harassing the king a bit. Forcing a trade-off somehow. I'm not quite sure on that. Goes there. Bishop b5. I don't really understand that, to be honest. There's probably some really complicated endgame analysis you can do. And then, like, what? You resign. And we were right with rook a to e1 anyway. So let's have a quick look at some opening theory so we don't make this same mistake again. Where are we? So we're in this, and then e takes. So we'll look at a win for white here. We've got Ruslan Kavayev versus Alexander P. something, pro something. So they've played d6, so they did a slightly different move order. And actually bishop c4 is the way to go, which we sort of thought about, but I wanted to claim some space, because usually that's what gambits are about in my eyes, is space, as well as you get the development. So the development is just as important, but I think space is also quite important. Maybe that's where I'm going wrong. And then they sacrifice a pawn, so I don't get why. Well, I mean, I probably get why they can't take this, but it is sort of half okay to take. I think I'm not sure. They don't go for it though. I'm guessing computer wants them to go for it because it's saying this is a bit of a mistake. So I'm guessing it is actually fine to take. Sorry, I zoned out a second there. Knight h5 is weird. I'm guessing you're just looking for a bit of an outpost here, or cover this pawn, I guess. And we've lost the game. Brilliant. There needs to be a better way to do this. I'll have a look at something for next time. Yeah. Bishop develops just a castle, I guess, and then queen d3. I'm guessing maybe you want to push this, and then alongside castle, if you can ever take this pawn. c6 is always a solid move. I really like c6 as a move, especially it's black. I think it's just super solid. I always try to play that if I can as black. B5 is good, kicking the bishop out, and you're starting this and just claiming space on the queen side, really. The knight drops back to hit this again, which is sort of scary for black. And this bishop move's a bit strange. You trade off black's light squared bishop. Are you scared about some tactics once you've castled? Or are you just wanting to trade off your light squared bishop? I'm not quite sure. But that seems not ideal for black to me. Then again, these people are better than me. So, long castles finally. And this pawn storm's actually a bit dead, really. Dead on arrival. Yeah, you've got a few weak pawns, but then again, you've got no light squared bishop. So, yeah. Or maybe it's one of those cases where the attack is still on, but so is white. So it's an absolute mess, and everyone's attacking everything. This looks like a really nice funnel for black's rooks, so they're probably going to try to get that in the long run. The knight takes a pawn rather than kicking out the queen. This pawn's hanging, which is scary. I'm not sure why black doesn't go after that, but they trade off and then pick up the pawn, I guess. King moves to b1 to stop any shenanigans with queen a1, although I don't think that works with the d2 square. The queen's coming to c6. They probably want to double up on the file. And then knight c5, which is a super, super nice spot for white, although the computer disagrees. I guess, sure, it can get kicked out quite easily, but at the cost of your dark squared bishop's activity. So, the queen's coming to g3, and all of a sudden, this looks super, super scary for black. The computer's still preferring black in this situation. It's 1.6, but I feel like I would take white any day here. It looks like a playground for white, basically. But a4 comes surprisingly quick. Wow, I didn't even consider wow. A4 b3. Yeah, so they're even looking at an a3 after this. Just to absolutely crush. White goes for a trade of queens. And the king takes the pawn, queen takes, rook takes, and yeah, it's hard to see white winning this one. It's hard to see white winning this one, but apparently they do. The bishop takes a pawn, rook hits the bishop moves back. The knight's actually doing a pretty good job here. Are they looking at some sort of bishop sacrifice with a knight coming in, with a rook coming in? And actually, this rook's remarkably well placed. Amazing. Yeah, they go there first so they can take this with even more sting to it. Yeah, the rook comes in and checks, and then the king moves to h7, so it's shoring up their defenses a bit, although the computer's actually preferring this for white now for the first time with this knight sack. That's brutal. Takes is just mate. So I guess you've got to ignore it, but you can't. Oh, sorry, but you can't go back. So you've got to go that way, or you do what they did and move the rook up. But that's a blunder apparently. So I wonder what the best move actually is here. Maybe an a3 even, and just let this happen. Either way, that's terrifying. That's super terrifying. And it's a beautiful little sacrifice. I would love to see a proper game review on this. Knight takes. I wonder if there was anything better. No, I don't think so. This is 4.6 for white here. Knight takes pawn. King back to g8 is the only logical move. And then you just win the rook for the knight. You win the exchange. The bishop takes the pawn. And two rooks and a bishop versus a rook, a knight, and a bishop. Down a pawn for the white side. Not anymore. He says that. You pin the knight to the king. Give some more checks. Trade off a bit, and then all of a sudden this is a pretty nice game for white here. They've won the pawn because the bishop's under attack. I think they just missed the checks. I wonder what happens if the king comes up. That is interesting actually. I don't know why they didn't come up that way. I would love to see that as well. But you just win. You either win the bishop or the pawn, so you might as well give them pawn. And it's 2 pawns up versus a rook and an exchange. A little shuffle, some checks, get the king along, get these pawns pushed, and you resign, basically. So that was a stupid game. I hated that. I did not like that, really. I mean, they played well in the opening. They clearly knew what they were doing, and I clearly didn't. I need to learn this if I'm going to play F4, because that's a real option they can do, and there's nothing I can do about it. Basically, so let's have a look at that in my free time. But anyway, yeah, it sucks they resigned and saw it through the game, but what can you do? Thank you all for watching. Please like if you liked. Please subscribe if you really liked, and I'll catch you guys all tomorrow. Bye bye.